Having a talk about prenuptial agreements is far from romantic, but it's a reality. You don't have to be Donald Trump to have one or sign one. Our personal finance expert, Richelle, is here with more on this. There's so many different questions. You could take it from the woman's perspective if she has to process a man asking her for a prenup.
Sure.
Or in this day and age, she could ask for a prenup.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a touchy subject.
Yeah, you know, for years I built multi-million-dollar companies, so I was the one with the money.
Yeah.
And you say, well, what happens when we're not in love anymore? Does it mean that you have to go back with your mother? And so you definitely want to make sure that you do it while you're in love.
Yeah.
While I love you, you love me, let's sit down and talk about, well, this is what I'm bringing to the table, and this is what you're bringing to the table. And when you leave, you can take what you brought. That's all that the prenup is really saying. Not that, you know, if we stay in love for 10 years, then there are other things that happen, you know, things that accumulate during the marriage. But one of the biggest concerns is if, let's say I have a house already.
Okay.
I meet you, Jason.
Right.
I fall in love with you because you are super
that house,
cute.
baby.
Or you say, I don't like that house. Let's get a new one.
Okay.
Right? So what happens to my equity in the house? I sell my old one. We put it in the new one. Now we don't love each other anymore, but I've lost everything when we divorce. So that's what you really want to protect. Protect the things that are important to you first.
Do you need a lawyer?
Absolutely. Okay. And you guys need two different lawyers.
Two different lawyers.
Sure, because, you know, they try to do, well, I'll just use your lawyer, but what happens in the end is that your lawyer, if you don't have individual ones, that the court may look at it as it was collusion.
Yeah.
And I could always say, well, no, you made me use your lawyer, and now your lawyer convinced me to just not ask for what I needed, what I deserved, and then it won't be fair in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it says protect what you care about. We know the house, the cars, things like that, but I bet you anything, there are some things that some people really care about, i.e. pets.
That's right.
Things like that.
Pets, you know, I understand you have cats.
Yes, and I'm not splitting them up.
Well, good, because I don't want your cats.
Okay.
You can keep your cats. But what if you had like a precious motorcycle or an antique that my mother gave me, and now I have to split it with you just because you don't love me anymore? No, that's not cute.
No, and that's something that the attorneys and you guys can all hash out together.
Absolutely.
On paper, it sounds great. It's like because you are still in love, but I bet after that little discussion you have with your attorneys and everything, that might be a tough night.
It is a tough night, but you know, it's one bad night.
Yeah.
And if you can't get through that, you really don't need to be getting married.
Who's getting more prenups, the millionaires or the people that, you know, make the same amount of money and are just like, you know, everyday folks?
Well, you know, of course, you know, millionaires sometimes say the money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's a regular, everyday folks who are doing it. You know, my favorite comedian said, look, I make $30,000, you make $30,000, I have to give you $15,000? No. Now I have to live with my mama because you don't love me anymore? I hate that. And so once I heard that, I said, ooh, that's so true.
Right.
And nobody wants to have to go back and do that.
Do they expire?
Actually, they don't expire.
Okay.
You can amend them so you can have a post-nup agreement.
Right.
So let's say something happens after you get married, or, you know, all of a sudden
at BNY Mellon, our business is investments, managing them.
But, you know, the prenup, no, it doesn't expire.
There's also, like, sometimes you get these eccentric ones where you do have somebody who has a lot of money, and it's almost like an incentive program. It's like, okay, if you stick with me for 5 years, I'll give you this amount, and 10 years, I'll give you, I guess that could be standard.
Well, you know, they do it all the time. So it was, there was a lot of fervor about when Tom Cruise got married.
Oh, right.
Because it was like 10 years in one day.
Yes.
So now she gets everything. So that's what all the hoopla was about.
I remember that.
Was she really in love, or was it just staying that extra day so she could get half?
Richelle Shaw, the money expert with us here at Moore. We appreciate it. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right.